Welcome, everybody, to the Next Level Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ant-Man Z, as always, with my main man, Andrew Crash Nash. We are so happy to have you for another episode. Tonight, we're talking about the Washington Commanders. What's going to happen in their 2025 season? Well, if you want to find out, you need to watch the show. We're going to give a full breakdown. We're going to talk about what they lost, what they got, where they're going, and we're going to give you a little bit of a bonus with our fantasy picks at the end and tell you guys exactly who you should pick up for your teams. And maybe, just maybe, Crash might give you a little bit of info on who you might put a future bet on right now, because that's what's on the table. I'm not saying he's going to, but he might. But Crash, the floor is yours. Give us your opening thoughts on the 2025 Washington Commanders.
Yeah, well, let's go back in time. I will be very, very sincere and honest with you. This was a team that if you would have said that what they did last year, I didn't see that coming. And I really don't believe that anybody did, Vegas or anybody other than the Commanders fans, right?
Yeah.
But, hey, listen, the quarterback play of Daniels, right, absolutely took me by surprise, and I was in awe, bro. I did not see it coming. I just did not see it coming.
I don't think anybody anticipated what he did. First of all, as everybody already knows, he won the NFL Rookie of the Year honors for offensive player, and he was in a league of his own. I've seen some people break down what he's done as far as his ability to quick read a defense. And Crash, you being a former defensive player and coach yourself, have you ever seen a guy that young, first year in the league, able to dissect a defense the way that he did?
Well, it's a good question, and you didn't even know. I didn't know you was going to ask me that question, but yeah, I did. And actually, right when he came out of college, I was looking at the him in the draft, highlights, and watching his pro day, and I said, this kid right here, because some people have that gift, some coaches. I said he's something special, and actually, it was somebody that he topped, like even out on first on was Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked it up today, and I was like, oh, okay, like everything was in first, and there was just one other thing that Ben had him on. But the year that Ben Roethlisberger, you guys, Steelers came in, I said that kid's going to be something special.
Wow. Yeah,
but I never saw Daniels being that. Let me share that with you.
He took the league absolutely by storm, and he took a team that I don't think anybody anticipated was going to do anything and brought them all the way to the NFC Championship game. And really, they were that close to making it to the Super Bowl, were they not?
Man, real close. I mean, you know how I was high on Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
I was high on Detroit. But as I started seeing, man, it was going, I was like, where on earth did that come from?
Yeah.
It was just,
and you know, I'm down here in Tampa, Crash, and you lived here for a time period too. So watching that division game between the Commanders and the Buccaneers, I think that the Buccaneers thought they had this. In fact, they really did. They had the game down until the last minute, and they just could not stop Jayden Daniels. In fact, for as long as I live, I'll never forget Kalijah Clancy, who's an all-pro defensive lineman. He had Daniels in his hands, and he just slipped out of there like he was made of butter and got himself a first down and kept that drive alive. And they ended up scoring and winning the game.
Hey, listen, you know, I love me some Baker Mayfield because I live down in Tampa. I had the Buccaneers win. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
I had the Bucs winning that game, man.
Yeah, we both did. I remember our predictions, and by that point, obviously, we knew Jayden Daniels was something special. Yeah. But we didn't know. Listen, and you know this better than anybody. There's a difference between the regular season and the playoffs. And the fact of the matter is this: for a rookie, this guy didn't take a step back or struggle or, not bring his A game. He found a new level in his first year of balling that set him apart than anybody else. He was arguably the MVP of the entire playoffs, even though they didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, really, man. I mean, even C.J. Stroud, man, and that's what we'll get on to the second, this thing about the second year of the hiccup, the curse. Yeah. Even C.J., man, I don't even think I was as impressed as I was at Daniels, man. Seriously. Yeah. It's been a long time since I saw, a rookie just that electric. And even in the postseason where you think they're going to regress, this dude seemed like he got better.
Stepped up. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to bring up something. The other day, we did a show on the Philadelphia Eagles, and I discussed Saquon Barkley and thinking that he was going to come back and have an even better season, or at least close to what he did last year. And you really gave me a gut check with that historical curse, as you said, of what happens to the 2,000 yard rushers. They don't really have a good year after that. Crash, tell us about this sophomore jinx. Isn't that what they call it when a quarterback comes out of second year? What is it? That the defense has more film or what?
You know, that's exactly what I would have to believe it is. I believe that listen, in anything, it's the element of surprise, right? Even in war, right? It's the element of surprise. And I believe that that's like you said. I don't believe that Bucks really realized what they was getting their hands into, right? But now it's, they get the game film and 1 year under the belt, okay? But I just have a sense, and we'll get into this, the McClure situation. It's like, really? Yeah. Because, bro, listen, we're going to have to see how that trade pans out, okay, and what's going on. But listen, this team, I'm giving it kind of away a little bit, depending on that. If he stays, I'm going to say this. They have the opportunity to do what the Detroit Lions offense did last year.
Wow. And you know what? The other day, before this whole Terry McLaurin situation popped its ugly head, where, now correct me if I'm wrong, he demanded a trade, but then they signed him. They gave him the long-term contract that he wanted. You thought that squashed it, and then he came back a few days later and said, nah, I still want out of here.
So there has to be something else going on. Yeah. And, bro, if you're hearing me, listen to me. My brother, listen. Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Because you got the world right here. You got everything going for you. You guys got a great – they brought in DEEBO, electric. What is it, jealousy? What is it? Because I'm not getting it, Ant.
It's funny because you had just said how well you thought those two paired together. DEEBO being a guy that can go across the middle, Terry being the guy that can get the ball on the outs, do the back shoulder catches. It seemed like they had a really good winning combo there. And for whatever reason, I don't know. I'd want Jayden Daniels throwing me the ball if I was a receiver. I don't know why. Where does he think he's going to go?
All of a sudden, this is what gets me, man. It's like, because I don't believe this is ownership. I don't believe this. And I'll tell you why. What they brought back, they did it intentionally, right? Yeah. They did it. Let me give you the notable vets. And this is why I love them also. What does Crash say? Defense wins championships. Yep. Defense will take you a long way. In fact, I have to apologize a little bit about the Chiefs. I know Chiefs fan, I was throwing them under the bus. I had to go back and replay that. We'll get to the Bills when we get there about that. But I had to I'd actually go back and watch some highlights earlier. But Von Miller, the anchor of the defense, veteran, Super Bowl champion. Listen to these names. Bobby Wagner, Seattle Seahawks, comes over. They retain him. Marshawn Lattimore, I hope I said that right. The cornerback.
You did. Let me just stop you right there too, Crash. Yeah. You just layered all three levels of defense. They got Von Miller. He's an amazing edge rusher. He's got that veteran presence. Then you've got Bobby Wagner. I don't think there's a better tackler in the NFL in the last 10 years, plugging up the middle and stopping the run. And then on the top, you got Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, even if these guys might not be the physical specimen they used to be, their leadership alone and ability to coach and command that field, that's got to count for something, Crash.
So they retain. Listen, this is a win now team.
Yeah.
This is a win now team. What they did. Look what they did. Then Eckler. Oh, I am huge on him, man. Yeah. I love him.
He's a guy that's all heart.
Change of pace. Dump it out to him. Those screens, he'll burn you. And my guy, Zach, the old vet tight end, Zach Ertz. Another Super Bowl champion. You see the trend here that they're laying down?
Yeah.
Hey, and left tackle, they brought over to protect Daniels' blind side. He even said in an interview, his best friend, I want to say Tunzel, left tackle for Houston Texans. Look what they did here. And all of a sudden, and then brought in DEEBO Samuel, electrifying. Jet sweep. He can run the ball. One of the most electric, still, I believe, wide receivers out there. He's still got it. I believe he does.
And you know who we haven't even mentioned, Crash, and I think that he's got to be the X factor in all this. Their head coach, Dan Quinn. I mean, what this guy came in, and it's his mindset, it's his philosophy that has transformed this team. If Jayden Daniels didn't buy in to what Dan Quinn was laying out there, you wouldn't have the team you have right now.
Yeah, he's another one, and you know, I was quick to judge him in a sense. I was like, Dan Quinn, but like, dude, he did a masterful job. He was a leader of all this.
Yeah, he shocked me too last year. Just the way that everything came together and the way that the players love him. I think that's such a culture change from when they had Ron Rivera the year before. Ron Rivera kind of runs a tight ship and it's very disciplined, and he wasn't, you know, the guys love him, but he wasn't really known to, let's call it, exploit the team that he has. He had his system. Whereas I believe Dan Quinn is a master at taking what he has and getting the most out of that.
Yeah. And look at what all the Commanders, from the name change, the ownership, the fan base was ready to just, I mean, like riot against the ownership here, right? And it's just like multiple times. It's like right now, like, and that's why I'm so, these players, listen, if you're listening, if you're a young player, high school, college, NFL, when is enough is enough? Listen, there's guys out there that finally get it. They take pay cuts on their extension because they see the bigger picture. I'm sorry, I don't know those situations, but if you're one of those players that is doing stuff like this, for me, I wouldn't want you on my team because you're only looking out for yourself.
Yeah. Well, Crash, it's a 54-man roster, and usually 4 guys command over 75% of the money. How does that make the other 50 guys feel?
Yeah, well, that's another thing. These guys, I don't quite know their extensions. I saw something where these guys are $5 million and over that I just mentioned. I don't know if that's, you'd have to look that up, man.
Yeah.
I didn't really look at that. Some of these veterans, but no, this is it. Some of these guys are on 1-year contracts. So it's do or die, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And not for nothing, but let's call a spade a spade. As Jayden Daniels goes, so will go the Washington Commanders. They are going to completely be reliant on his performance this year. And he's shown me nothing that makes me think he's going to regress or take a step back.
No, actually, the offseason that he's done, once again, no offseason, he actually has come in. He did an interview. I was watching one of his interviews. And you listen, just listen. Speech says a lot. Like, especially whenever you catch somebody when they don't expect it. That's why on our show, you may not realize, Ant and I really don't, we don't choreograph anything. And that's the beauty of it. Be transparent, be honest with people, be genuine. And I saw him on an interview earlier, and I was impressed. And one of the questions was, hey, where'd you get the muscle? He says, oh, I just woke up with it one night. But you know, no, it's such a
funny you say
humor, dude.
It's funny you say that, because if I was going to critique him, that's the one thing that I thought that he needed to do in the offseason, because he did look a little frail out there. I'm not going to lie. He had that body style that one good crunch from the wrong guy could have been the end of it all. But he seemed hard to hit. He was squirmy. He was resilient. He bounced. He did take a couple hits. In fact, I think he was knocked out of a couple games because of a concussion protocol, but he really bounced back. But, you know, Crash, I got one word that comes to my mind when I think of Jayden Daniels, not his performance on the field, but Jayden Daniels, the man. And the word that comes to me is humility. He displays that, unlike most guys his age.
You know what comes
he has
to my
wisdom
mind?
Beyond his years.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know what comes to my mind?
What's that?
Focused.
Yeah. The quintessential.
No, that's beautiful, though. We all have, and that's the beauty of it. That's why we want to get up to 50 subscribers. We still need to get up to 50 so we can go live, and we want to hear your guys' input.
Yeah, guys, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please do us a favor. put your comments down below. If you're a Commanders fan, don't just watch this and applaud us and say, yeah, I agree. Give us your thoughts down in the comments. We are trying to create a community here of like-minded people that like football, boxing. We barely touch baseball, but baseball playoffs is coming up, so we'll definitely touch that. But we're brothers in Christ, and we're going to be talking football, especially college football and National Football League as we come up here.
And we'll all be sharing our faith, and this is something I wanted to ask Ant if I could do. I wanted to share just something, if I may,
sure.
because this is part of, if we're in it for the money or if we're in it just for likes and clicks, then we need to get into something else, right? We're putting our faith and trust. We know that God's going to prosper this. We just know, because both of us are great men of faith. We believe in our God. And but anyways, I want to share something, a lesson.
Sure. Please
because this is something else that we will share with our public. So hopefully you guys can get some nuggets. But anyways,
and Blake, Crash, before you share it real quick, I just want to remind everybody, we have not done the fantasy picks yet, so stay tuned for that. And Crash is going to give us a little bit of a futures insight, I promise you. But here's something, he's got something to share. You told me you were going to share something. I don't know what it is, but it's important to you and to me. So let's hear it.
So it was just a lesson that I was reminded. As some of you know, that you see Scarface on here. Al Israel that played Hector the Toe. This was a gift. That he was my mentor when I lived out in LA, when I was trying out for Mount San Antonio College, which I did as a walk-on at 36. But anyways, you may not know it, but he was actually a Christian. Hector the Toe in Scarface.
Wow.
How many people can say that they were best friends? All right, that it was somebody that played on that film. But anyways, to make a long story short, I was reminded him today of something, because a lot of times greatness, right? It tells you to have the faith yourself. I'm not giving you a handout. I'm not giving you anything. You come up and, you know what I mean, and get it yourself. And the whole time I knew him, I never asked him for anything. He offered it, if anything. He offered things. But what I was reminded of today is this, and one of the lessons he taught me, is as I was in the gym today and I'm getting ready, I'm training and getting in the zone, out of nowhere, a guy come up to me, and I'm always aware of this. I stopped and took the moment, and that opened up a bunch of doors for me. And then another young man, he said, "Oh, you're back." He says, "You was given so much to me right when I needed it to hear it. And here you are again. You're pouring into my life again." What's my point? It's just like this show. People matter the most.
Amen.
And I just wanted to share this with you guys today, my faith. Don't ever let anything in life, right, be greater or more important than people. It's about relationships. And I was reminded of that yet again today. All right. Talent takes you so far. And this is the issue I think that we're having in the NFL right now, with all this money and these contracts and just wanting more instead of people, instead of team. I think we're getting away from that, folks, more and more. And it's about people. It's about team. It's about community. I just had to share that because I myself was yet again reminded of that. That's all I've got.
Crash, I 100% agree with you. And you know what? Even the Bible says that too. It says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor, which means anybody else, including your enemies, according to Jesus, as yourself. And we live in a world where people love themselves a little too much and not others as much, but we're connected. Everybody needs everybody else. If we could just find a way to be kind to each other, the world would be a much better place. So that's definitely our encouragement.
Yeah, just slow down enough. What I'm trying to say is I could have just continued and focused on my workout, but I'm always conscious of my surroundings. It might be that door that I opened for the older lady or man. It might be just take a minute and pause for other people in life, because you never know.
Right. You don't know what anybody else is going through. You had a bad day yesterday, whoever you are, and maybe that person's having a bad day today. Why don't you be the light that you can be to give a little bit of something to the darkness that they're in that moment? Always consider that. You don't know what somebody's going through.
And it might open up a door for you. It did me today.
Absolutely. And praise
But
God for
don't
that.
do it because of that. But I'm just saying there could be a blessing on the other side.
Amen. Thanks for sharing that, Crash. Now, let's I think we already covered it for the most part, but I think it's a given no matter what fantasy football league you're in this year, if you don't take Jayden Daniels as your at least top 3, maybe 4 quarterback in the league, you've lost your mind. He's going to get it done on it with his legs. He's going to get it done with his arms. He's not afraid around that goal line. I think he's going to get upwards of 25 to 30 touchdowns because, Crash, you mentioned something. You mentioned defense, and I do think that they've stepped it up, but I think that this is a team that's built for the shootout. This is a team that built themselves to battle those Detroit Lions that you like, and it already paid off for them.
It's funny you would say that because really it makes you wonder if they're not thinking that. They're thinking, hey, listen, you know, with the Ravens coming up and you've got all these other teams like Detroit, all those points that they put up, we need our offense to be high octane. That's probably why they brought in DEEBO Samuel. What a brilliant move.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't agree more. And you know what? Can I say something on that? Just pick one.
Yeah.
I think anybody on this roster offensively, you can pick one.
Yep. I'm with you on that because if you look at their running backs, Austin Eckler is going to be their goal line guy. He's going to get 10 plus touchdowns this year. He's also going to get a lot of those third down catches out of the backfield. So if you're in one of those point per catch leagues, he's going to get a ton of points for you that way. You got Brian Robinson Jr., who kind of had a little bit of a breakout year last year. I think he's going to even get better this year because of Austin Eckler being able to spell him, being able to give him some freshness when he comes on the field. This team, to me, again, back to Terry McLaurin. What are you doing, guy? If you want to be on a high-profile offense where you're going to be scoring points left and right and be at the top of everybody's fantasy league, this is the team. Why do you want to go somewhere and get buried in obscurity?
Brother, that's sometimes when we don't know if it's family in his head that needs to stop it or if it's the agent. You know what I mean?
He already got the contract. He signed the contract. Now again, we don't know. We don't know what's going on.
We don't.
But if he really cares about scoring points, I think he'd want to stay. But
because I can tell you, like, I've been front office as well, and a lot of our players and even coaches didn't know what me and the owner were talking about doing.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Unless we had full access in there, which you and I, of course, don't. And I don't want to assume and throw him under the bus.
Right.
We don't know, man.
Nope.
But it's
we don't
just
know.
like, somebody please work this deal out, man.
Yeah.
For the sake of the team and the city.
Yep. All right, Crash, close us out. I'll give mine after yours, but what do you think they're going to end up in the NFC East? You got the Giants, you've got the Eagles, Super Bowl champions, and you've got the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a pretty tough division that they're in. And then if I look at the rest of their schedule here, they play some question marks. You know, we don't know what the Packers are going to bring. We don't know what the Raiders are going to bring in week 3. They got the Chargers in week 4. They do have the Chiefs that they got to play. They do play the Lions again. Their schedule's not that easy.
No, it's not. And exactly. And that's what I was looking at. Early on, we're going to know. We're going to know early on because guess who they're facing the very first game, even though it's at home? Who they facing?
Is it the New York Giants?
Which Vegas has got them. Vegas got them favored to actually, I want to say, to win the Super Bowl. Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, really?
They've got it. So we'll know early on what this team is.
Yeah.
Are they a faker or a shaker? Are they a doer?
Right.
I don't know. But it's all going to come down because that's why I'm not going to really commit to anything is this McClure thing, man. I'm not going to commit and say to anything because a lot of it's riding on what he does.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate.
Yep. Well, I think they're in a tough division. I think that they've got a tough schedule, but I think that as long as they can wiggle their way into at least a wild card position, they're off to the races again because this is a team that can beat anybody in the NFL. You know, there are some teams that you look at them and you say, you just cannot win that game no matter what you do. But when I look at the Washington Commanders, this is a team that has the capability and capacity to beat or play with anybody.
Do you see that also a trend in all these teams last year? What one thing that they have on offense? A quarterback that can run the football.
Yeah.
That can as a dual threat. Look at almost every one of them. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. It's almost like that has become a thing where you know, you're a former linebacker yourself, Crash.
Yeah.
The fact that you can take that middle linebacker out of pass coverage and force him to watch the line, unless he's one of the most elite guys in the league that has the ability to do both, you can get him into a trap. You can literally plan your game plan around putting him into traps.
It's not just the linebacker, and it's the whole defense, because what happens is, okay, let me give you an example. Yeah. The wide receiver breaks, or the quarterback breaks out into the flat. So now you're a man-to-man. You got the cornerback. Do you come up? Does the linebacker come up? Do you stay? Right. Is he going to run? Do I just go ahead and attack, or is he going to dump it over my head? See, it brings a whole nother element into the game. It's tough to defend.
Here's an interesting game I'll be looking at. Sunday, November 9th, they play the Lions at home at 4 o'clock on Fox. That'll be an interesting rematch of the NFC Championship game. And to me, I see two teams that can put up points, but one team that only has that dual threat because no one's scared of Jared Goff running out of the pocket and grabbing a few yards on you. You just that fear doesn't exist. You're able to stay back, stick with your man, keep in coverage, and force him to throw the ball down the field. Whereas with Jayden Daniels, like he said, if you're one-on-one on an island with one of his receivers, you don't know what you're going to do.
Even that Broncos game at home, that's not going to be easy, man. I mean, they got to go to play the Vikings, which had a really great defense.
Yeah. You said it yourself the other day, Crash, the parity. There's so many good teams that this is going to be such an interesting year. I cannot wait to see how it plays out.
It really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching,
I'm not going to give any. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. How dare I do that? Yeah. If you stayed to the end, you deserve to hear this. Do you have any future predictions for anything on that team?
Well, I'll tell you, as we've said before, the first 50 that come on, we got to get up to 50 first. You're going to be grandfathered in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set something else to another site to where you'll have to get all the futures and all that stuff.
Yep. And I'll explain that. I'm going to explain that in a small video for you guys. But for any of you that watched to the end and didn't hit the subscribe button, you're missing out. Because what we're going to do is our first 50 subscribers are going to be grandfathered in to a lifetime membership on our Patreon where you get our top picks. And when I show you how much money Crash made last year, I mean, not for nothing, but all you'd have to do is follow him and you might be doing pretty dang good for yourself. So the first 50, guys, it's still open. As far as I know at this moment, there's 21 slots left, but they're going to go fast. So make sure you jump in there and then send us an email. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you in the next one. God bless.
God bless, guys.